All right, guys, we are back on track. We actually have some sound this time. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right in this AMA and basically go into the first question, which basically talks about the team waiting on the free zone to launch the main net and to go through and to do the listing and all that. So basically, I'll just say this with the amount of competition that we have in this market, yeah, it's a phenomenal market. It's definitely a bull market, and it's a great place to launch. However, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of noise out there. That's the problem. So we want to have as much as humanly possible whenever we get out there, so that it just goes buck wild. The last thing we need is a launch with, that it just kind of, it goes dead in the water. So that's what we're doing right now is we're trying to get everything, including the mainnet, ready ahead of time, and basically getting funding, mainnet ready, the marketing ready, everything that we need to get ahead of the launch for the free zone. So anyway, that's where we're at. The next question is about the supply of. I've already gone over this quite a bit, but we'll touch on it again. That's what these AMAs are for, to get everybody on track. So this one says APL had a total supply of 21 billion coins. How many will basically GGT have? I've gone over this before, like I said, but it's going to be about 27 billion, and there's a reason for that. We to get Apollo going, we had to basically give away a significant amount to exchanges. Like I'll give you like one bit mark. I don't know if we're really supposed to say this, but who cares anymore? They took about 500 to 600 million, if I'm not mistaken. That was just part of the deal. I mean, we couldn't get around that. I mean, and that's not a big exchange. I know that at the time, HitBTC was about 400 million, and then I believe they took about $400,000 worth of USDT. So it was. I mean, it's extremely extensive as far as what you have to get exchanges going like we did before. So we need some extra supply for that, especially if we're going to be at the level that we want to be at. You want this to happen. That way, it gives the new foundation for the coin, which we're going to set up a foundation that does nothing but set up GGT for the long haul. We're going to have that going. So, and then what happened? Basically, there's another question about exchange launches with KNX. When is launch? Basically, I'll go through and I'll just explain that again. Right now, our main focus is to get the free zone going, to get that announcement, and then boom, we're gonna launch KNX, which is GGT. We're gonna get that bridge going, and then boom, launched. So there's another question that basically goes over the legendary bonus. We've already kind of gone over that before. We went over how much. We'll basically give that away right before the bridge. So you'll get that in KNX, and then you can just bridge that over into your GGT. So you'll have that extra little bit. So then there's somebody who's asking about basically the merger or non-merger of Apollo and Grape together. Basically, like, or if it's a merger and or if it's more of an alliance and strategic partnership. I mean, basically, it is each coin is going to have its own foundation, and that foundation is going to do nothing but literally promote that coin. So there's going to be a Grape foundation, there's going to be a GGT foundation, there's going to be and there's going to be companies. There's going to be a company that we're setting up right now that has a Grape name. That is just for the government side, that is just for basically the GDT side of things. Then there's going to be a grape company that's dealing with the corporate aspect of that. But there's going to be a foundation for grape and a foundation for GDT that are set up separately that are doing nothing. And that's actually not going to be me that is ahead of the GDT side. It's going to be somebody else. A few people we're talking to right now. I've got great prospects for that, but I'll be pushing the company side and like more the head of the free zone area of that once we get that funding in. Okay, so then there's somebody's basically talking about the fact that so far we've 8 to 11 countries have been approached and have held discussions with Steve and his team about the governance platform model. That is actually incorrect. Basically, as far as approached goes, we've honestly approached pretty much every country in the entire world, except for China and except for India and except for maybe North Korea. And there's a reason why we don't go. I won't get into it a lot, but India and China, they're completely off limits. Those are literally countries of programmers. They're never ever going to choose anything on the outside of India. So that's you just give those away. But everything else we have hit. Everybody that we could see that could be a decision maker. During a period of time, especially like leading up to like whenever people were really big into central bank digital currencies and the e-governance, we have probably visited, I would say 11 would be pretty safe to say, in my opinion. I'll have to go back and look, but as far as 11 that we've had the team go to is probably pretty safe. As far as what I've gone to personally, maybe 8. I'll have to go back and look, but yeah, something around there. But basically, they're talking about how are we going to push that in the future? So once we get the free zone up, are we still going to keep pushing the governance stuff? And the answer to that is yes, definitely. And I think the reason why we're going to be in a better position, which I've spent millions of dollars pushing this, and it was exhausting. Obviously, that's why we lived in Africa at the time. The e-governance and the central bank digital currency. But the reason why it's incredibly important to get the free zone up first is because that lays the foundation that we need to promote e-governance and the central bank digital currency system, because it shows it works. It's our model. It's our base model. So as far as that's concerned, we'd like to get that up. But yes, we'll definitely keep pushing. And then so somebody's asking, like, has it already been decided? Which crypto event that we'll go to once to promote the free zone? I just say the free zone itself is bigger than a crypto event. It's like getting it, like doing, definitely doing like, I'd say like a lot of news, interviews, as many as we possibly can, like focusing on podcasts. Because believe it or not, podcasts are actually like where people are watching. If you look at even the viewership of Joe Rogan, if you look at the viewership of even Theo Vaughn, some of these smaller guys, they're not really small, but it pales. Even Fox News a lot of times. Still focusing on getting onto even CNN and Fox News. Those, but that's really going to be the main focus, is getting media attention on things. But yeah, we'll definitely hit up all the conferences we can as soon as that's done too. That'll be the job of the foundations once we get that started. And then somebody says, like, I assume that this governance platform can be used for large countries. Yes, it definitely it can be used all across the board. Of course, larger countries it's harder to get into. That's why we need some smaller use cases, some smaller examples of use cases, which is kind of that whole the purpose of the free zone. Boom, get that first use case. We can kind of show some smaller stuff, and yeah, that would be great. And then move into pushing into some of those bigger use cases. Oh, let me see, guys. Oh, there we go. Okay. Um, so yeah, sorry that my computer went down a little bit. Um, and then let's see. Oh, so that somebody said basically this question wasn't answered yet, and it's me basically saying it's talking about me basically talking about how I want to basically get on YouTube and start talking about world events and starting to get um, just get a viewership building up. I mean, I think that one of the things that every single crypto CEO does is really get out there and, I mean, getting influence for a crypto CEO and getting, definitely getting out there is critical. I mean, not, in my opinion, like what I'd like to do, I mean, just to get eyes on the free zone, to get eyes on the project in and of itself, I would love to start touching on more than just the project in the public eye. It's something that I'm very passionate about. I love the politics side of things. I love world events. I'm a news junkie. So that's something that I'll probably start posting on, at least on the channel that you're following now. Most likely I'll kind of like move that around and start posting on that. Maybe even more than just the company, which doesn't take very long, but to be honest, it gets me involved and gets you guys involved in something that we can build and grow, which I think would be phenomenal. Um, okay, so then basically somebody goes into well, one of the questions: will I be a very rich man this coming Christmas? That's obviously the goal. That's what I'm working for. I'm working to bring prosperity to everybody involved, everybody who's believed in us. That's the goal, is to get this project up and going and to, have it benefit everybody who has believed in the mission, believed in the product, and like those OG guys, especially like yourselves who have like stood by us through thick and thin. I mean, that is what I literally live for every single day. That's why I'm here. Instead of just saying I'm sorry guys, like we can't do it, I'm like, I will never quit. I never want to quit. I want to keep pushing this thing. And we've never been closer. Like we actually have an agreement. We have something solidified that we can literally just walk into for what would be something big. Um, all we're lacking is that funding to make that happen, and then as soon as we have that, boom, we're done. That's we can do it, guys. We're there. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it with that. We can save everything else to the next AMA. I skipped a few questions because I already answered the majority of those questions. But yeah, if you have something that I didn't hit, we can just hit on the next one. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for your understanding. We will get this thing over the edge, and we'll get it past the finish line. Yeah, I will keep you guys updated until the next AMA. Stay tuned.